Hey y'all, this is Kat and welcome back to my channel. Today I have a special guest and I have a Reiki practitioner. I am super excited to get into today's video. Alright, so I am going to actually leave the floor to him for him to introduce himself and let us know a little bit more about what a Reiki practitioner is and whatever else he wants to tell us. And I'm going to come back and ask some questions and then we're going to actually get into what a Reiki session looks like in real time. All right, let's get right on into it.
All right, so first, thank you for having me, Kat. I appreciate the interview and the questions about what Reiki is, because I really feel like it's about educating those that don't know what it is so that they can realize how important it can be in our life. So a little bit about me. My name is DaRon. I am the owner and founder of Aniverse Now Enterprises, which is my company focused on building harmony between people in the natural world. So me personally, I do this through therapy sessions such as Reiki, and we'll get into it, but Reiki is really another form of mind, body, and spiritual therapy. So I also have online courses teaching people about nature, and I perform these services for people as well as animals. So again, it's all about the harmony building. So a way to build harmony between a person and their pet is to figure out kind of what the problem is and then allowing them to coexist, to live in the same space without so much stress, so much anxiety, all of these things going on, right? It's building a more coexistent living space, which is more productive and better off for the overall well-being of the person as well as the animal.
Okay. So you mentioned that you're connecting nature with people. Mm-hmm. So how are you doing that?
Right. Good question. So it just goes back to Reiki. So what Reiki means is broken down into two words. Rei is universal and Ki is life energy, right? So universe, right, kind of everything that's around us. And energy, right, we have energy, right? Like our body moves based off energy. If you don't eat, right, then you have low energy. Right, our body is a machine. So with that in mind, right, if we talk about Reiki encompassing everything, that includes nature too. Okay. Right, so someone asked me kind of Reiki broken down in simple terms, and I told them it's the appreciation for God's creation. Right, so depending on what you believe in, you say God created the earth, right? And the heavens above it. So if God created the earth, He created the trees, the animals, right? Us, the plants, the insects, created all of that. So Reiki is a type of bringing to awareness that we're all God's creation. And we love and appreciate what that is. So in order to, a good way to appreciate that is to align with it in our mind, body, and spirit, and being in harmony. So being in harmony with God's creation.
Awesome. I like that.
So okay. I started Reiki about maybe 7 years ago at this point. And with it, I just it's grown on me to a type of way of life. So it's not like it's kind of a turn it on, turn it off type of thing. This is literally how I live my life. And with that, as we'll get into the questions, it really ties into many belief systems or many ways of living. So yeah, that's kind of a brief introduction of me.
Okay, thank you for that. All right, so I'm gonna get into a few questions. So my first question is, what started your journey on going the Reiki route compared to any other type of healing practice?
Right, so as I said, about 7 years ago, I kept seeing the word Reiki, right? It continuously popped up to me, whether I was Google searching something, I was looking at videos, it's like Reiki this, Reiki that, And I was like, I don't even know what this is. So let me figure out what this is. So I started doing like a Google search. Hey Google, what is Reiki? I spelled it wrong a couple times. And then when I finally started reading into it, I was like, okay, I kind of like what this is doing, what this is talking about. So from there, I actually scheduled a Reiki appointment with a Reiki healer or a Reiki practitioner. And I had one done for me, or done on me. And during the session, I remember I was working a job that I was really feeling aches and pain. It was a very physically demanding job, which it is what it is. I'm grateful to have it at that point in time. But I could definitely feel it straining on me physically as well as mentally. And during the session, I just remember feeling an overall calmness and an actual feeling of pain relief as well. So after the session, I was like, you know what? I feel really good about this, and I think this is something I want to do, something I want to study more. And after that, I started my Reiki study. So I started looking at books, kind of more videos, more people actually talking about their experience. And from there, it just kind of grew, right? I was still studying, but I hadn't really jumped all the way in, right? So it was still really new to me. I was interested in kind of what it was founded on, the precepts or concepts that makes Reiki what it is. And as the years went on, I just constantly studied more, and I actually talked to more Reiki healers, right, or practitioners. And from their guidance and their advice, I kind of found myself in Reiki. So that's when I really started to have both feet in, per se. And from there, I was in school to be a veterinarian, so I love working with animals. And it just dawned on me one day, it was like, well, I'm really liking this Reiki and I love animals. What if I put those two together? So from there, I started performing them with animals of family members and things like that, and I could see them taking to it. Like they would actually come to me and would be asking for a session in their own language, right? So with that, it just kind of dawned on me to start my company and provide this service for people as well as animals. So that's kind of the evolution of me seeing Reiki constantly, to wondering what it was, to me actually having one done, to where I am now and actually providing the service.
Okay, that's a beautiful journey. That is absolutely dope. That was like a line for you to start.
Yeah, like it was unexpected.
Yeah.
It wasn't like, hey, when I grow up, I'm gonna be a Reiki.
Right.
Yeah.
Right, because I definitely, like I said, you are the first person who introduced me to what a Reiki is. So I never heard the word or seen the word. So yeah.
This is it brings gratitude to what I'm doing.
Yeah.
Because like I wasn't raised knowing what Reiki is.
Right.
Or what it is. So it's like when I came into that aspect of learning what it was and started implementing it with how I live and how I can help others and animals, then it's like when I talk to someone that doesn't know what it is, I can relate.
Right.
I don't know what that is.
Right.
And
what's that witchcraft? That's how I was.
But that's how the majority of people is, right? Because it's on nature, you fear what you don't understand. So it's like Reiki. That ain't in the Bible.
Right. Seriously.
So with all that, it's just part of it. Like you just breaking it down and explaining to people like, this is how it is.
Okay. So what were your feelings when you first went about scheduling yourself a session with a Reiki healer?
Yeah, so when I was actually going through it to schedule one, I was nervous, right? Because I didn't know what to expect. I saw videos, I kind of read about how a session goes, but it's one thing to kind of read about it and then experience it. So I was like, okay, well, let me see what this is. I kind of researched a few places, and I was kind of drawn to one. So I was like, my attention was going there. So I was like, well, let me see what it was a lady, let me see what this is about. So I looked at her bio, kind of how she got into it, right? Her mission, right, and what she wanted to do. So I was like, okay, I can align with this. I really feel connected in a sense. So when I actually went there, of course, it's still a little nervous because it's something new. So, but during the session, you know, she explained what it was, how the session would go, and then after that, when she began, it's kind of like all of those fears and anxieties kind of like went out the window.
Okay.
It's kind of hard to like explain in words, but it's more of a feeling, right? It's kind of that, like it's okay, right? Like just kind of relax and let it do what it does. So after that session, right, I got up and I was like, wow, mentally I feel clear, right? All the mental clutter is removed. Spiritually, I felt relieved. And physically, a lot of the aches that I had from what I was working at the time were kind of relieved as well. Not saying it was 100% gone, right? But a lot of those aches and pains were relieved. So it was just kind of that feeling of relief after. And I was like, well, you know what? This isn't so bad, right? I was doing all that worrying and, you know, kind of prejudging for nothing.
Okay.
Right? So that's normal.
Past the lady that you did go to your first time, how many more did you go to?
Yeah, so I think with her, I did 2 or 3 more sessions, and then I actually moved to a different city. So I started going to someone else. So with that Reiki practitioner, altogether it's about maybe 3 or 4 sessions.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, and was that experience a positive experience as well?
Yeah, because it's like each one built onto each other.
Okay.
Right? So it's like we had the first session, which was like the introductory, right? This is what it is, this is how to expect, how do you feel after? And then I felt good, so I was like, you know what? I'm gonna come back in a couple weeks, right? So I came back, it built on that previous session, and I really started accomplishing more on some of the things that she pointed out. And from there, it just kind of built until I got to a point where it's like, I'm gonna do this.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
So it kind of built on each other. So if you think about how a doctor, right, gives you a medication, usually after one dosage, you may not feel completely relieved, right? You got to take it over the span of, you know, take this over a week, take this 2 weeks. So, you know, it's if you look at it like that, it's kind of similar in those ways. Like one session will be good, you'll feel it, right? But the more you stack it onto each other, right, over time, this isn't saying once a week or anything like that, then you'll start to feel and see the results.
Okay. So did they leave you with any homework to do? Like, okay, when you go home, you have to make sure that you do this or you don't do that in order for you to continue to feel relieved for a period of time? Or is it just you come, you experience, and you leave with weight lifted off of you and it stays? Or is it something additional that you have to do?
Yeah, so the homework is to listen to your body.
Okay.
Right, so during a session, because this is a form of energy healing, your body sometimes has to readjust, right? So many times in a session that I was in, I actually fell asleep, right? Which is okay, because this is your body readjusting to a stable form of where your body is used to being, right? So for instance, if you work around, you know, a lot of anxious people, right? 9 times out of 10, you become anxious yourself, right? So to remove from that, you have to adjust to being calm, cool, and collected, right? So if you think about it, your energy in your body is kind of the same way. So when that's adjusting, your body is recognizing what it is. It's like, okay, this is what I have to do to get us back, right? So kind of like if you have a sickness and say you got a fever, right? Your body is trying to get back to that normal temperature, right? So a lot of times that's the same way if you look at energy wise, right? If it makes sense. If your energy gets drained to a certain point, he wants to get back up to where it is, right? You ever talk to somebody and like you feel completely drained after you sleepy? You know what I mean? Like you like, what happened? Why do I feel so tired, right? So with that, your body is trying to get back to that up, you're excited type of feeling. So that's just one of the things you may feel during a Reiki session, and that's not every time. That's just because it's body. Your body knows what it needs, right? And Reiki is really kind of that support to give to your body.
Okay, when you were searching for a Reiki healer, how easy was it to find? Were there a lot of practitioners at that time, or how was that?
Yeah, it was quite a few. It was just simply like a Google search, right? And I'm not promoting Google, so Google can listen in the chat. But you know, it was just a simple search like that, and you know, you just find Reiki healers. I will say that when you do find one, be sure to like speak with them first. Many Reiki healers are practitioners. You can have a consultation beforehand. So like with my service, I offer a free consultation, right? And that's your time to ask your questions, get a feel for why they are actually being of service, providing Reiki. What are their goals? How can they help you, right? So those are things you want to ask in this consultation session to make sure that you are aligned with their morals, their principles, and what they're doing it for, right? So just kind of with anything, you always want to have, just like, you know, you don't want to go to just a random doctor, right? And you don't know anything about what they've done in the past, right? What are they focused on? Are they focused on one part of medical things and you focus on another? Like, you want to have that camaraderie and build that relationship, because this is someone that's supposed to be there to help you, right? So you want to make sure they are there to be of service to you.
Okay.
So yeah, I wouldn't say it was hard to find one, but as I said, you want to have that consultation beforehand.
Okay. Were there any Black Reiki practitioners?
No.
Okay.
Not that, I'm not saying there wasn't any there, but I haven't saw any.
Okay.
At that point. And that was just coming into, right, that scene of Reiki. However, once I came, you know, a few years down the road and I started expanding my kind of search of things, then I started seeing more, right? But there was still that discrepancy.
Okay.
You know, so yeah, at first I didn't see any around locally.
Okay, gotcha.
Yeah.
Okay, so do you feel like Reiki healing is exposed to the Black community at all in any way? And how do you feel like the Black community can get that exposure?
Well, just speaking from experience, I wasn't exposed to it until I was 24, maybe. About 23, 24 years old. Before that, I've never heard about it. So I would say the exposure was little to none. However, I feel the more that our communities learn about it and realize that it's something that can help us, rather than looking at it as a type of woo-woo witchcraft type of thing,
yeah,
then I think once we start to feel and see the results, then it'll be more widely accepted. And then it's just a matter of word of mouth. Oh, you had a bad day at work. Look, I understand that. I had one of those last week. I went to see DaRon with the Reiki session. We had it done. I feel amazing. So now when I go to work, you know, I'm there, I'm happy. You know, all the other stuff they talking about doesn't affect me. So yeah, I would recommend DaRon to go for a Reiki session, right? And from there, it just constantly builds.
Okay. All right. So, as a Reiki healer, have you ever felt like you absorbed negative energy and was like, okay, I'm not going to do this person anymore, or I'm not going to do this practice anymore?
Sometimes, as a Reiki practitioner, you can feel that, but you kind of know how to deal with it.
Okay.
Per se. So that goes into the study and learning from another healer, right? Because if you just hop in, I'm gonna just, learn it as I go, then a lot of things that happen, you don't really know how to react to. So you realize that with that, if you feel a sense of negative energy, then you know how to clear it per se without it affecting you. So as I said, earlier in the interview, if you're talking to someone and afterwards you feel drained energetically, right? So once you're aware of kind of what that is and how to protect your energy, then it doesn't affect you, right? So it's in the same sense with Reiki. So if you're, in a session with somebody that's very negative or doesn't have good energy, you know how to protect your energy and still be able to cleanse their energy, that negativity. That makes sense.
Yeah, that makes sense. Okay, well, good. So now that you are a seasoned Reiki practitioner, do you feel like it's a necessity for you to still have your own sessions with other Reiki healers?
Absolutely.
Okay.
Because the more the merrier, right? So that's one thing that I've learned sharing my experiences with veteran Reiki healers, is that the more the merrier. So, as healers ourselves, we have to stay in shape as well, right? So if a trainer at the gym is training you, they still have to be able to train themselves. So, they can stay in shape and they can give you advice. You don't want to take advice from somebody that's not doing what they're talking about. So it's the same sense with Reiki. So though you can perform Reiki on yourself, right, there's still that supportive, right, energy or supportive steps, right, that can help you.
So, what qualities should one have to be successful as a Reiki practitioner?
Yeah, so I think the quality starts with empathy, because you have to connect or be able to help someone that's going through something in their life. So, and realize that you're there to help them through that situation. So definitely empathy, openness, because you want to be open to constantly learning how to improve your practice so you can provide the best service possible to people or animals if you choose to go that route as well. Like with anything that you do, there can be a right way to do things or there can be the opposite. So really having that morality, that's the word I was looking for. Having that morality about what you're doing definitely comes into play. Definitely compassion. You're helping someone, or in many cases, like with me, you're helping an animal. So you have to be able to connect with them in a sense and have compassion for what they're going through, right? So that you can be able to help guide them through it or help to overcome an obstacle. So those are some of the main qualities I would say one needs to have.
Okay. What would you say to those who may think this is witchcraft?
So for those that think it's witchcraft, I've never studied witchcraft, so I can't tell you what that's like.
Okay.
But I can tell you this aligns with mind, body, and spiritual practices that I have studied. I was born into and baptized in a Christian, a Baptist church per se. And I've also have studied martial arts since I was a kid. So I always had that sense of mind, body, and spirit coming together. And I would say it aligns with that aspect. And I can find a lot of those values within the martial arts as well as the Christian faith as well. So I'm not going to sit here and say that it belongs to a certain religion, because that's an entire conversation. I think it's in many different, if you look at it the right way. So I don't believe it's witchcraft. I believe that it's all about the mind, body, and spirit, and connecting with ourself, because we have inside of us all the qualities that we need to be able to improve our mind, body, and spirit. However, many times, like with many things, we all need a boost at times. We need someone to kind of show us the way. So that's why I like to call Reiki mind, body, and spiritual therapy, because not only are you helping someone to realign with themselves energetically, but you're also helping them to bring together their mind, body, and spirit.
Okay.
So
I like that. So what advice would you give someone who is wanting to become a Reiki practitioner?
Yeah, some advice I would give to definitely research. You can go to YouTube University, right? Kind of listen to it. Again, take everything you hear with a grain of salt, right? And go and, do your research at a library. You can still look at, your search engine searches, right? Your Google, Yahoo, whatever you like. And there's actually a lot of peer-reviewed articles and things in many journals. So just something that people don't know. If you go to like Google and you type in Google Scholar, it'll help take you to like their peer-reviewed section. Or if you type in a topic, it'll show you articles and things that have went through a lot of scientific study, if you're into that. And it'll kind of give you more proof or evidence that it actually does work. So that's something that I've came across when I'm explaining Reiki to a very studious or scholarly person. They like to have the hard evidence. So actually showing them this, right, where it's like, okay, this was a study done. This is the amount of people. They did consent to it. They wanted to have it done. They had, and this is how they measured how Reiki worked for them. So that's kind of a receipt for them to see, right? Like, oh, okay, this guy or this person, this lady isn't just speaking about some woo-woo stuff. Like there's actually, evidence that says this is legit and it does work. However, like I said, even though we haven't been aware of it or taught about it, doesn't mean it's not legit or it doesn't work. So that's just another way of connecting with it. So that goes into the research aspect if you are looking to get into Reiki, and definitely talking with someone that has been a Reiki healer for some time to really get a sense, right? Because if they've actually went through and given sessions, then they can kind of tell you how a session usually goes, kind of what to expect, some things to watch out for, or how to avoid certain situations. So definitely a mentor that would definitely be very beneficial, because if you just hop in just trying to learn as you go, which it may or may not work for you, then you can never go wrong with a mentor.
That's true. Okay. We have answered all the questions that I had. Is there anything else that you would like to add?
Just know that Reiki can be done, as I said, for people as well as animals, and it can be done together, because what a lot of people may not realize is if they have pets, then a lot of the emotions or stresses that they have are passed on to their pets as well. So many times when people say, oh, my dog is just bad, it just won't stop moving, it's getting on my nerves. Well, you don't stop moving.
Dang.
Right? Like, you have a lot of things going on, as we all do, right? But like, maybe the owner has a lot of stuff going on as well, and then they get home, it's, they throwing stuff and, kicking this and kicking that.
Dang.
And, yelling at everybody. And then you think that your dog or your cat doesn't pick up on that. So the same way like a child, right? If you constantly do that in front of a child, 9 times out of 10 they're going to pick up on it because they like a sponge. So it's kind of the same concept when you talk about your pets as well. So Like, and a lot of people don't realize that, and I wasn't aware of that until somebody taught me, right? So I'm just passing on the knowledge in that respect.
Okay, so thank you so much, you all, for watching this video. Hopefully you have learned a little bit more about a Reiki practitioner and the practice and what he stands for and what most of them may stand for as well. And if you have any questions, please leave them on the comments and I will pass them along to him, or if it's something that I can answer, I will do that as well. Also, there is going to be a demonstration of a Reiki session, but it's actually going to be on his YouTube channel. If you would like to see in real time what that looks like, then go on over to his channel and check that out. But I will catch you the next time.